everyone, welcome back to my LS3 swap. Guess what, I finally got back. Yes, I got my custom shifter back, which is amazing after like a month being in the shop. We did get to create it, so it took a little bit longer to make, but it's finally here. I will show you that in a little bit. I am also going to paint the headers with a high temperature paint, so you'll see that in this video as well. But yeah, let me go ahead and show you the custom shifter right quick, and we can get started. Here we have the shifter assembly. As you can see, this is the shifter rod from the LS, and then we custom made this mounting plate. Came out amazing. And then here we have these links, which are adjustable. These links will allow us to move it forward or backward. Alright, so let me show you what exactly we still need to figure out. So we can see that this is sitting like this. However, we still need to figure out about this link. As you can see, this is the old LS3 mounting plate, but we have this rod that we still need to cut like this. Sorry, this is hard to do with one hand. I should have got the tripod. But basically, this goes under the mounting plate. And we still need to cut it to figure out how long or how short it should be, but the only way to figure that out is to put the transmission and the engine back into the chassis, and then we'll be able to determine how short or how long this should be. Time for the car to stop hibernating. Let's move it to the lift. Whew. Okay, so now I'm inside my car. Wow, it's been a while since I've been in here, but let me show you what we did so far. So we got the transmission where it's supposed to be. So basically the only reason we are doing this is so that we can make sure that this rod right here, okay, so the transmission is sitting at an angle right now, but technically this rod here is supposed to be in the middle. So this is the whole reason we did it, to check if this is where it's supposed to be. So as we can see, it is in the correct place. Obviously once it's bolted all in, it'll be in the center of this. Since we know that this is in the correct place, we know that once we jack the car back up, we'll be able to cut this rod accordingly. This right here is supposed to be centered with this rod right there. So as soon as we bolt this in, and this is in the center, we'll be able to cut that. So here we have the rod. This rod goes in like this. This is the rod that we need to cut. So the LS3 shifter was all the way back here, but as you saw inside the chassis, it ends right here. So when the gear is in neutral, we need it to be right here, centered perfectly. So we need to cut here and then cut this head off to weld it back here so that the shifter is in the middle. Let me show you. So as you can see here, the shifter is in neutral. So this head needs to be attached to this. So yeah, we're gonna get it professionally cut and then I'll be back. So hopefully it's cut by tomorrow. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and paint my headers. I am going to paint them with a high temperature paint. And if you're wondering why I am not wrapping them, I did a lot of research. In the long run, they get damaged faster, goes through gaskets like crazy, and also when they're wrapped, they tend to get warped. So that's why I went with the high temperature paint. And it was actually inspired by one of you guys. Somebody was like, why don't you just DIY it yourself and paint them yourself? And I was like, you know, that's a great idea. So I started looking on YouTube and I came across this video, which I will link down below if you're curious. But they did a very good job at testing it out on an actual engine and seeing how it held up toward the heat. So the paint that I am using is VHT along with its primer. Alright, so let's get to painting. removing the headers from the engine, I started to sand them down just to remove any residue or stickers, as you see here, and then I will start to painting. After I finished sanding and cleaning them, I set down 3 pieces of cardboard, and I used a bumper stand for this part, and I used string to tie them up to the bumper stand. This just made it easier to paint. I started out by using this prep spray so that I can get it ready for primer and paint. Then I used the VHT primer and I did 2 light coats. Finally, I went in with the VHT high temperature paint. I did about 5 to 6 coats on each header. Alright, so I'm back. It's a couple days later and I got the shifter rod situated. He actually did a really good job. As you can see, he actually made it adjustable. So without a doubt, I'll get the perfect fit. So let me go ahead and try it out. Okay, so let's install it on the transmission. The links are going to have temporary washers just because we have our doubts that this is going to be too long. One of the things that we need to figure out once the transmission is bolted back up for a test run, we need to figure out if these links are too long. So the way it's sitting like this technically. If we were to bolt this plate up, it's sitting like this, which is fine. However, as you can see, the shifter rod is sitting at an angle and not parallel with the transmission. In order for the shifter rod to sit parallel with the transmission, we need to lower it. We need to go down right about there. And as you can see, I still have space in between this rod and the transmission. So we have all this room here. And by the way, technically the transmission is in 3rd gear right now. That's why the shifter is like sitting like this. But anyways, we need to figure out if these are too long or if we need to shorten them out. But either way, we can't have the shifter rod hitting the transmission. But let's just check it out. Okay, got it up where it's supposed to be. As you can see, the shifter is sitting pretty low right now, but it is in the center, which is awesome. However, it fits well up here, but the transmission is still sitting too low, so those links are too long. We're thinking about taking all these spot welds that are right here and just removing this metal plate, and then have the shifter plate up here, and make a bracket up here to hold it in. So as you can see, the transmission is sitting too low.
This mount will still go up about another inch.
Oh yeah.
So then just about that much. So the shifter is sitting about an inch too high. And on top of that, since it is sitting an inch too high, the actual shifter itself is sitting crooked towards the back a little bit. So once we have the rods, it'll straighten the shifter out and bring it a little more forward, and then we should have perfect engagement with all the gears, and the mount will sit perfect as well. So it was sitting like almost like this. So as you can see, the rod is very straight. It's almost actually a little too low, and the shifter, it doesn't have enough space to actually do anything. So we need these rods, the two rods on the side. We need it to be about, so we need it to be like right about there. And we still need to shorten this rod a little bit as well. But we have adjustment on that. So we'll shorten this up, get these rods about another inch shorter, and then we should be good.
Alright, so I'll end the video here. Make sure you subscribe, click the little bell so that you're notified when I upload a new video, and hopefully I will see you soon. Bye.